Rolling.
Okay, let's see. This is what I want to get the concept just straight with people, because this is in all of literature. It's been going on for thousands of years. It's the idea that you've really got a soulmate, that somebody, you're the man, and this woman, for some mystical reason, she just reaches into you and grabs you. And I'm going to give you an example. This is like John Eldridge wrote about this. He's a Christian author, and he wrote it in this book called Wild at Heart. He says, think of this. Think of the 10 greatest movies you've ever seen, and there's a reason those 10 movies speak to you, because there's usually something going on, like it's a dramatic movie. It involves a man and a woman. They're going to fall in love. They're in the process of falling in love or whatever. And the idea is that all reaches us. See, it's like even in Gone with the Wind. She wanted Rhett Butler. Rhett Butler knew that he wanted Scarlett, and he saw something in her, and it was almost like mystical. It was like deeper than deep. And that's what everybody wants. People want to go that deep into real love, and they want the real thing and no phonies allowed. Now, about a week ago, I was seeing this movie again, which I've seen before, but it speaks about this. Say Anything. The main character there, a 19-year-old guy named Lloyd Dobler, he's totally in love with Diane Court. Now, she's a brain, she's a valedictorian, and he's just kind of like got a little kickboxing school where he's an instructor. But once they connect, she finds out, hey, this guy's really sensitive, he really loves me. I suddenly see this guy's my soulmate. And by the way, this is another reoccurring theme in literature, in books, in movies. There always has to be a breakup before you know the thing is for real. In other words, you fall in love, but you can't just stay in love. You need a breakup, because you almost have to see, does this have the power to come back? In other words, if we break up, we're going to be so attracted to each other, this thing is going to come back together. So, that idea. Now, another great movie, of course it's based on a book, Wuthering Heights. That is all about Heathcliff and Kathy. And here's the key deal. Halfway through the novel, she is actually talking to a servant in the house, and she's so in love with Heathcliff, what she says is, I am Heathcliff. In other words, their souls have merged. They're beyond. In other words, most people in love, let's say there's 10 stages, most people get to about a 3. But when you're a real soulmate, boom, you go to the 10th level. You're on the 10th level. I mean, they used to call it the transcendentalists in 1880 in New England. Well, they were transcending. The transcendentalists, you go above and beyond the real love. This so-called 1, 2, 3 level is nothing. What you want to get to is 10. You want to leave the universe. In other words, that's why she says, I am Heathcliff. You understand what she's saying to the servant? I mean, she's explaining this to people she barely knows, but it's like so deep in her heart. And by the way, Heathcliff knows the same thing. We're joined. We're so into each other. That's the real deal. I am Heathcliff. And he would have said it about her. I am Kathy. In other words, I understand you so well. The deepness of the love is there. It's so rich. It's so powerful. That's what everybody is searching for. So, the ideal is in us. The whole idea is a soulmate. That's what we all want. We all want. And here's another way I put it. If I give you a choice between, I'll give you $200 or $100 million, which one do you want? And some people might go, well, I'll be humble, I'll be happy with $200. No, you won't. Not with $100 million. If you knew that you could buy peace of mind, you could vacation where you wanted to, well, that's what it's like when you find the right person. It's like you won the lotto. I've used that term many times with people trying to explain this whole concept. You want to feel like you won the lotto, and I mean a big one, $100 million. You know, you'd just be running down the street. You'd be so excited. You'd just be, woo, and being crazy. You're just loving it. That's when you really fall in love. And see, there's no substitutes. Anything on this 1, 2, and 3 level, you're not a transcendentalist. When you're a transcendentalist, you go from 1, 2, 3, and you go to 9 and 10, and you're in the clouds. That's literally, where do you think we got that expression? I'm on cloud 9. That's because the first 3 clouds are okay. It's all right. But I don't want okay. I don't want all right. I want to be on cloud 9. I want to go all the way. I want the $100 million, not $200. $200 might buy me one day of freedom. I want freedom in my soul. I mean, I want it all the way. Now, there was a little pamphlet wrote, 10 ways to tell when you fall in love. One of them is, you know what it is? It's just so strange, but anybody who's been in love knows this. It's the sound of her voice. Literally, the sound of her voice is soothing. It's not irritating. It's like, wow, you can just talk to her for hours. You're on the same wavelength. And see, that's the point they were making in Say Anything. In Say Anything, he can just talk to her. He can relax. You know, it rains on them. They get wet. They go out for a picnic when everything's beautiful. It's just there, and you just know it. See, Lloyd Dobler knew, I've got to have Diane Court. She's the one. She's my soulmate. We can go deep together. I mean deep. That's where he holds up the boombox, by the way, at the 2/3 of the way through the movie. You know, they had their little breakup. He's holding this boombox, and it's like he's sending that message into her soul. I mean, she can hear this tremendous love song, and it's just boom, 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 and it's on the boombox, and it's just coming out. It's just coming out. I love you, and she's restless. She can't even sleep well, but she knows Lloyd Dobler loves me, and he spent the time to drive his car, put this special song in the boombox, and I love you, Diane, and he holds it there. I mean, that's just one movie, one of these 10 great movies that tells you what real love is about. And there you go.